Hello and welcome back. I'm glad that you could join me today. I was watching YouTube and I came across this video and I kind of got a little bit excited for it because it looked really neat. So we're going to have a go with this. I will leave a link in the description down below of the watercolor video that I am trying to kind of follow. I do have to give you a warning that in this video I did have some camera issues. I think maybe it's having a problem with the focus because of the color matte that I decided to choose, or there's a lighting issue. But I just want to give you a heads up that if it does bother you to have the zoom in and out, there's a forewarning, it does happen in the video. So I don't want to make anybody ill or anything. But enough jibber jabber from me. Let's get into the video. I'm taking a pencil and kind of giving myself a little bit of a guide around the outside of the paper. And I only framed it only because I thought it made it look nice. It doesn't really matter if you frame it in. I just thought it made it look nice. But I'm trying to make like guidelines around the outside of the paper only because I wanted to try and give myself a visual aid of which direction I want things to be flowing and moving in. I have noticed though that in this particular video and a couple of other videos too, but I have noticed that in this video I have to like really scrub on these paints, and I'm not gonna lie, it got a little annoying in the video. I tried to edit it out because I was sitting there scratching forever, and I pre-wet the watercolor, so I'm starting to wonder what's going on with them. I mean, I like them because they're like student grade and I like them. But my lord, they were just driving me batty. But I did try to spare you of some of the scratching at the watercolor. Today we're going to be working on the watercolor paper, and we're going to be doing a wet in wet technique, and the colors are going to blend directly on the paper. So here we're going to start off with a light sky blue, and make sure your paper is wet but not like sopping. She describes it so much better than I can, but you're going to want your paper to be wet, and we're just going to kind of like squiggle in some colors for the sky. And I'm trying to save some white of the paper because those are supposed to be the clouds. Now in working this particular part of the video, I noticed that there was like shapes in there. It kind of looked like a face and it kind of drove me nuts. So I tried to like work around that. If you get a little bit of white or a little bit of watercolor that kind of bleeds in places, you can just pick it up with a paper towel, which is what I did. And after you put it down, you're going the initial watercolor wash in the squiggles, you're going to want to move it around to kind of soften the legs or whatever you want to call it on the watercolor, to kind of soften it to make it look like the sky. So here's the face right here. It kind of looked like a face. So I kind of tried to like blurb that out because it looked a little silly to me, and I wanted there to be a bit more contrast, I guess you could say. I wanted there to be dark spots and like light spots. So yeah, and I did have a couple of drips that I just decided to pick up with the paper towel, but I wanted to see if I could get darker spots, and I tried a different color, I believe, too, just to try to make it look like a sky. It's really not that trivial, but I was just playing and having fun. here's where I'm trying to mix a couple of oranges to come up with the colors that I need. And I always put it on a scrap piece of watercolor paper just to make sure I can get like a contrast and get the colors kind of the way I want it to, because I don't want to like make the color and then like put it directly on my painting and then like have it not work out. So I always try to test it out if I'm unsure of it, because I am still learning. And I tried to show here the colors that we're trying to use, just trying to use basically a limited palette. It was just to play around and to try something. I thought it was neat. So but here we're going to be using some sap green and some ultramarine blue for a different kind of color green. We're going to be using cad yellow and an orange, like a muted or a darkened orange, however you'd like to call it, and a sap green with ultramarine blue, just to kind of like give it kind of like the bluish green color, and a brown, or maybe even a couple browns. So that's the majority of the colors, and you can just mix this as you see fit. You can, whatever colors you decide to use is perfectly fine for this. And I'm not sure if this is actually my raw umber, because I cannot find any more raw umber. So this actually might be burnt sienna ×2, because I cannot find the raw umber. So we're just gonna make do with it. You can just, you know, basically make that with a brown. Now here on the video, what she did was she started off with a dry paper, and then she kind of put in these blobs of paint to represent the trees. And as you're working it, you change colors so that the colors bleed into each other, which was really neat. So you can add like little drops of colors, and it just kind of like works together in whichever direction that you want. She describes it a lot better in the video than I do, but this part was actually kind of fun. really particular about how I wanted it to look, and I was getting very frustrated later on in the video because I kept making all kinds of mistakes. But it happens. It does happen. But I was getting a little bit particular because I wanted the trees to look a certain kind of way, and I just, for some reason, I just couldn't get it to look. I had a picture in my mind and I couldn't get it to work the way I wanted to, and I couldn't get it to look like hers, which was not the point. But I did get kind of frustrated, and then I was supposed to be doing paint splatters while I was doing this, and I love the look. Okay, I love the look of the paint splatters and the freeness of just splatting paint on the things, but I had a huge problem with it because I splatted it, and I knew it was going to make a mess, but I didn't realize it was going to make that much of a mess. And I splatted everything on my computer desk, the wall behind my computer desk, everything on my computer. Oh my god, I started freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, the mess. So forewarning, if you do the splatters in this, forewarning, you are going to make a mess. So you're going to want to prepare for this. I'm gonna have to figure out something else because like I have other pieces of art that are behind my desk that are like I like to look at while I'm here, so I can be like, okay, this is like inspiration for me. And I splatted those with watercolor. My cup, my paints, everything got water. And I wouldn't be so particular, but like this is my computer desk. So it's not just my art desk. This is just where I'm filming. Now I would love to get like a what do they call it? An art easel, and then I can have like an art easel set up with like a splat thing or something and not work directly on the computer desk, but I just don't have the money for it right now, and I'm not asking for money. But I do want to have, because I would think that would be cool to like be able to go outside and to paint on an art easel, but I want one of those plein air ones that's lightweight. I can just take two pieces, screw it together like on a tripod, plop it up, and then just work from it. Now here she said in the video that to make this actually work, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want all of your tree limbs or your tree trunks, I believe it is. You're gonna want them to go small at the top and then to kind of come out a little bit fatter towards the bottom in whichever direction. Now in her video, to make this kind of look right, you're gonna want it to go kind of like where my pencil lines are, kind of go around the outside of your watercolor painting. So that's what I tried to do here, and she did it in, it wasn't like a black, it was kind of like a dark brown, but I do try to like make it darker in some spots to kind of give it a little bit of a like a pop. So there's that, and you're gonna want to have a broken line, because if you were sitting on the ground there'd be like different leaves or whatever and covering it up, so try to make a broken line and just kind of have fun with it. I mean, make broken lines where you can. I didn't do too many around the tree limbs, which I probably could have done, but I definitely do want to try this again. But hopefully it won't get too crazy or whatever, because this one that I did was a frustrating day for me. And you can experiment with colors. If you want to put red in there, you can put red in there, whatever colors you want. You could do all green, you could do green variations. So it's actually a very fun project if you wanted to, but just bear in mind that, like I said, it is going to cause a mess, because after each tree you're actually supposed to do some splats in there, but I just gave up on the splats and just said, nope, I'm not making a mess in the computer. So I just kind of started dabbing them in where I could. All right, and there is my painting all finished. Let's just take off this tape here and we can take a look at it. Now, when I pulled the tape off, there was a little bit of bleeding. I had a hard time with the tape when I did this, I just corrected it with a little bit of acrylic paint, and it looks fine. I mean, it's just a sketchbook. It wasn't really a masterpiece, but I do like it though. But you can just fix it if you need to. So I just wanted to show that that's what happened, because I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you get out your watercolors and attempt to do this as well. I will put a link down below if you'd like to go and see her video and see how she did hers. And if you'd like to give it a try, you can follow her video, you can follow my video, however you would like to do it. But she has several other videos on her channel. A lot of them look very interesting. I may go back to her channel and try and attempt a couple of other paintings. I do like the idea of going to other places and other sources on YouTube and seeing if the hype is worth it, because I have noticed that like there's a couple of YouTubers, no, and I'm not calling any names out, but they try to say that you can do this and this as it for a beginner and stuff like that. And I've noticed that I've attempted a couple of things from other YouTubers, and they don't always work out for beginners, because I try to follow what they're saying and their video looks wonderful and I just cannot get it to look like they did. I just started another video of another forest image, and she said, oh, you just do this, do this, do this, and this, and it's, I think, the second time I've tried this, or the third time, and it never comes out looking like hers. It is not as easy as she claims it is. So I'm not trying to call nobody out, but I mean, if for a beginner, I don't know if that really works. But anyways, enough rambling from me. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you come back next week when we have more watercolor fun. I have to say, the next couple of videos, the paintings came out so well. The paintings came out so well that I don't think they're going to be staying in the sketchbook. I've already pulled one of them out. I plan on spraying it and putting it in a frame because it came out so well. I'm hanging it on my wall. It's not staying in the sketchbook. I've already pulled it out. So the next couple of videos are going to be very, very fun. I'm very, very happy with the way they turned out. So I hope you will join me next week here on Canvas and Craft. And if I haven't said so, my name is Lynn, and thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope to see you again next week here on Canvas and Craft. And I just want to say, I hope you all have a colorful and wonderful weekend. And I hope to see you all next week. Okay, bye! Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye. See ya, bye-bye. Thank you for coming! Bye! Have fun! Have a great weekend! Bye! Okay, I'm done. I swear I'm done. I'm so weird. I'm so sorry. Wow. I need to calm down. Nobody wants to hear it. Alright, bye!